Beryl, Debbie, Francine, and Helene. Sounds like the lineup of a pop girl group, doesn't it? Well, think again. These aren't the next chart toppers. They're the hurricanes that have been on a whirlwind tour of Florida this year. And the latest headliner? Hurricane Milton, making its dramatic entrance into the Sunshine State.
We begin our report with the aftermath of Hurricane Milton.
From Hurricane Milton.
Hurricane Milton.
But this isn't the first time Florida has been hit by recurring hurricanes in the same season back to back. In 2004, Hurricanes Charlie, Francis, Ivan, and Jean all took turns swiping at the state, each one different but delivering the same message. Life in hurricane territory is no joke. And just when Florida thought it could catch a break, 2005 rolled in, with Dennis, Katrina, Rita, and Wilma, leaving a trail of destruction from the mainland to the Keys. So what makes this US coastal state so prone to recurring hurricanes? Contrary to the wild idea that Democrats are controlling the weather, Florida's hurricane troubles are all about geography. Now picture Florida as a giant finger pointing down between the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean. Both warm, tropical waters perfect for brewing hurricanes. Now hurricanes can't form too close to the equator, about 300 miles away. But Florida sits in the perfect storm zone where the Earth's spin, known as the Coriolis effect, kicks in. Now this creates the necessary swirl for hurricanes to form and thrive. So Florida's location makes it a prime target for these storms year after year. But here's a question. Why don't Europe's warm waters whip up massive hurricanes? You can blame it yet again on geography. Hurricanes don't just spring up in the Atlantic out of nowhere. They start their epic road trip back in Africa. Sahara winds scoop up tiny dust particles which help form clouds. But here's the twist. Earth's giant wind swirls, or gyres, think of them as nature's DJ spinning the decks, only groove in the right direction for hurricanes on the western side of the Atlantic. So while the US gets slammed with storms, Europe gets to sip tea and enjoy the calm. But it's not all Mother Nature that comes to haunt. Humans are equally to blame. We're pumping tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, creating a thick blanket around Earth. This blanket traps heat and moisture like a cozy sauna. This means our oceans heat up, sending more moisture into the air. And that moisture, it has to come down eventually. Cue heavier rains, flash floods, and storms that seem to have been designed by a disaster movie director. Take Hurricane Milton, for example. It wasn't just a regular storm. This beast had 4 different weather events packed into one. Think 100 plus tornadoes, wild wind gusts, storm surges pushing ocean water inland, and rivers overflowing for good measure. The result? Absolute chaos. And it's only going to get worse.
So at this point, I think we still have another 2 to 3 major storm formation, which is left actually. So there probably will be another 2 to 3 storms which will be formed in the Atlantic. They may or may not reach Florida, but they are definitely going to form there. So that's one thing which is for sure. Now, it appears like another major storm will hit again Florida in this particular season. There is a very good chance of that actually. So I think there is, and again, unfortunately, there is a lot of disinformation and misinformation as well. Some of the political leaders are actually spreading disinformation about these storms, and that is not helping anybody actually. So I would say let the scientist community work on these things. Let's make the predictions so that at least people can have a fair chance of leaving if they want to leave.
So what's the takeaway here? Florida isn't just hurricane prone. It's hurricane central thanks to its prime location. And with climate change cramping up the heat, these storms are only going to get stronger, wilder, and more frequent. So you might want to keep an eye on the skies, because when it comes to Mother Nature, she's just getting started.